Welcome back to the Black Rasslin Podcast. This is the Black Rasslin Podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/Black Rasslin. My name is Cal. It is not about me at all at this point right here. As you can see to my, I don't know if this is my right or your left, whatever the situation is, I've got a man who's celebrating. I think it's are you at 25 years as a pro wrestler?
Yes, pretty much. Yes, sir. Pretty much right there.
25 years in the game, a man who a lot of people may remember most as squashing a lot of white boys in the White Boy Challenge on WWE television. I'm gonna ask about that in a little bit, but more importantly, you know, he's got Dogg Pound Dojo going on. He's got Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling going on. It's a lot going on. You're still currently the SWE TV champion as well.
Yes, but now SWE is no longer existence right now. Yeah, right in existence.
He shut down SWE. Hold up, we got somebody joining in. What's up, Mimi? What's up, Mimi?
How are you?
He shut down SWE's TV championship and the whole promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Mr. Rodney Mack on the line here. Rodney Mack, thank you for coming through. Really appreciate having you for this conversation tonight.
Thank you, man. You know, glad to be here, and thank you guys for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. I mean, 100%. Now, we mentioned, we were speaking briefly earlier. Coming up on 25 years as a pro wrestler. Congrats on that. That's an amazing feat in and of itself. Take us back, like when I read, you were training with Junkyard Dog and things like that. Were you even thinking about, 20 years in the game, 25 years in the game back then?
No. This was always a lifelong dream of mine. Of course, I've always just knew in the back of my head, man, I was going to be a professional wrestler, and running across JYD was just one of those things. He was my all-time favorite wrestler growing up, and he used to come down there to Lafayette, and man, we used to do whatever we had to do to get tickets to make sure that we had ringside seats. And I remember going around on the campus, man, and getting in trouble like in the first, second, third grade, going around headbutting kids and stuff. So, and yeah, being, thinking I was JYD, but that's just, I sit back and look at it now and still, like, I'm in awe, and grateful being in this situation.
Was JYD one of your favorites growing up, or who were some of your favorite pro wrestlers back in the day?
He was, of course, the top guy, and back then, it was Mid-South Championship Wrestling around my area. And there were guys, Butch Reed and Dr. Death Williams and Ted DiBiase, Jake Roberts, and guys like that. And
when did you start watching wrestling? Do you remember?
Oh my God, I go back because I always tell this story. I remember being so I was 4 years old, and my brother is 4 years younger than I am. My mother was pregnant, and she was in labor, and my dad and I dropped her off at the hospital, and we went on to watch a match with Andre the Giant in a handicap match. Yeah. So that's
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Now,
yes, man.
In the intro, I mentioned I every time in doing preparation for this interview, I have to make sure I'm not asking something that you've been asked. And I noticed over the years, a lot of people have spent time only focusing on your time in the WWE, which, again, relative to the longevity of your career, feels like, a couple of small cups of coffee. But right. I did want to ask, the one thing I did want to ask about your run, what was the conversation like? What was your first impression when you got into the room and they said, all right, so your gimmick it's going to be called the White Boy Challenge, and every week on TV you're going to beat up another white boy. Were you surprised? But it's take us back to what that particular conversation was like.
That's kind of hard to remember.
Okay.
I do remember, how did I get that my feeling like, how did I get that call?
Right.
Yeah. And when it was explained to me though, about they needing someone in there that was real rough and rugged and, get the job done. And I guess I fit the mold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was it was I don't know how to look at it, like two ways, because I knew, first of all, it wasn't going to last that long, and I mean they said it as going into it, but I don't know, I guess just having a spot, I was content.
Grateful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
very grateful. Yes.
But I will say it's one thing having just like a regular spot on the roster. It's another thing to be the black guy that is destroying white boys every week on TV. Again, for someone like me who's been watching all my life, I never thought there's certain things that happen in pro wrestling. Like I never thought I'd be seeing that particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, and that was and at the time, once again, I didn't really realize how deep that was until midway through it, and we were getting some real heat,
Mm-hmm.
and Teddy was telling me, and I was like, man, what's up? And he was like, yeah, brother, this deep, we touching some hearts. Yeah, and then shortly after that, of course, they got rid of it. But the more I run into people and talk to them, they tell me like, well, one of my biggest fan bases was the people that were incarcerated.
Oh,
And they
really?
Said right. When WWF came on and the White Boy Challenge came, it was like, man, people went crazy. Yeah, yeah, I was representing that.
they were banging on the bars and everything. Yeah,
that was the stuff. Right, that was the thing. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So I guess that's why they were like, you know what, we gotta stop that right now.
Well, talk a little bit about that. We're a decade, almost 2 decades plus, removed from seeing that stuff on TV, and it's interesting to see in pro wrestling in general what black pro wrestlers have been able to accomplish. Talk about what you've seen and your thoughts on the advancements of black pro wrestlers, men and women, in the business now.
Well, you know what? For one, I mean, man, it's like everybody, and that's a great thing. Everybody's getting a chance. That's no longer the issue. It's like, and I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, but just anyone of color and everyone of color is getting an opportunity that to do things, and that's great.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, I went to a WrestleCon this weekend, and I was looking through. They have the different vendors that are there, and I was trying to find. They had the old magazines, and I was trying to find a magazine that had a black wrestler at the very least on the cover of the magazine, like the predominant picture, and there wasn't really one wrestler that was just on there. So when you talk about those types of opportunities, you're right. Like the landscape has completely changed. Right. You would see a box here, maybe a box in the middle, or if they were in like full page on the front, they always shared it with another wrestler that wasn't a color. So, you're very much correct on that.
Yes, and man, that's awesome to see that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't realize we spoke to Amber Rodriguez a couple of months back, and I didn't realize that that weekend the shows that we were talking about, one of them was a Dogg Pound. It was a Cold-Blooded show, I believe it was at. I didn't realize what had been going on with the Dogg Pound and yourself and Jazz, and I realized I doing my homework. So there's the Dogg Pound Wrestling Dojo, and as well as Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling. When did one start before the other? Can you take us back to like the genesis of what's going on in the Dogg Pound?
Right. Well, actually, Dogg Pound Dojo, Jazz and I has been having that ever since we've been together. Okay. Just in different areas, right from Louisiana to wherever else we've moved. But here in San Antonio, I think we've been open close to a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and And I think what Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling, we've only ran, I think this will be maybe our 7th show.
Wow.
Right. But Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling, we were gonna do that, especially for the students from the school, and we were getting them ready. This was kind of our kind of like a developmental for SWE
Mm-hmm.
at the time, right? So we were getting getting their feet wet there, and then helping them out before we introduced them to TV.
Nice.
And
okay.
right, so and that's where that kind of was born. But it continues through TSW. We also work for Texas. TSW's Texas Style Wrestling, based out of Dallas. Right. So and this guy was partners with Tom Lance. His name is Randy Klein. He was partners with Tom Lance. And when it all fell through, he went on and did his own thing. And Jazz and I, and along with Teddy Long, we booked for him and actually run the show for him. So that's just a continuation now. So TSW now has its own network, TSW Plus Network. It has an app, right? So exactly. So we're grooming them up to Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling again there, and then bring them up to TSW.
Yeah, I see this.
Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling has ended up turning into a little bit more than that. It's not just a student show anymore. So now, yeah.
I saw that you got the No Regret show coming up on the 21st of May. That's Dogg Pound and TSW combined.
No, that's the Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling show. TSW, we have a show May the 14th.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, well, so it's basically like our sister company.
Got you. So, I mean, you mentioned Dogg Pound kind of. I mean, I don't want to call it a feeder, but I mean, it sounds like, as you said, it's a developmental to get them ready for TV. Does Dogg Pound have, are you still going to have like title belts and the things of that nature in Dogg Pound as well?
Right. We have the champion, the world heavyweight belt will be in shortly as we speak now. It should be in the mail. But we have we have tag team championship belts, which are held by the OMGs, which are two guys that Jazz and I trained about, 12, 15 years ago out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Yes. And we also have another title called the Pound for Pound belt, which is held by Don Hoss Holding. He's a 61-year-old guy who just broke into just right. He used to be a promoter, and he went back, man, and for the love of the game, and started training and whatnot. And he's a story of, he's got a story of his own. He's the guy.
I'm sorry, you said 61?
61, and he just started wrestling last year. He went back to school. He started off at a place called Hybrid, and then he transferred over to us. And then we got him in the ring and hooked him up. And man, this guy is something else. But he's our pound for pound champion.
Do you get scared like when someone I mean, and it's no disrespect to anybody's age at all, but like somebody starting out at 60, 61 years old, did you have to have a different conversation with him than you would like a 18-year-old or a 21-year-old first getting into the game?
Of course, yes, very much. And with this guy though, is to hold him back, because he's got a motor, man, right? So we got to hold him back so he can, so he's able to wrestle. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, his motor don't stop. Yeah. His motor doesn't stop. But yeah, of course he understands it, a lot. I mean, he's 61 years old. He's run a very successful indie promotion here in Texas as well. And so he understands a lot of it. He's been in the ring and he's been on the streets, doing the work. So he understands, as opposed to the young guys, you gotta tell them explain about this as a process, and you gotta trust the process.
Right. I mean, it helps that he at least had a little bit of foot in the door, so he understands the business and everything from the top.
Yes.
Let me see, brother Fam. I'm gonna let you in. You good? I'm gonna let brother Fam. Brother Fam, brother Fam is here. We just having conversations with Rodney Mack here. What you mentioned a couple of folks coming out of Dogg Pound. Who are over? And you also mentioned that you guys have been having you've been training folks over different spots over the years in different places. Who else has come through the Dogg Pound Wrestling Dojo?
Man, there's guys that go way back. Let's see, the NWA Junior Champion, Kevin Douglas. We have a guy by the name of Bull Pro. Byron Wilcott. Maybe you guys are familiar with. We've also had hands on. Oh my God, a bunch of guys that's been around, like Lance Hoyt and even Amber Moon, Athena. And that's just some of the names. As we had hands on like hundreds of Luke Hawks. Just quite a few, and I know. I mean, I just they won't just come to mind right now. But right, what is it? Maddie Dombrowski and Richard Dombrowski, right? And what's the other? Jasmine Allure. So some recent names. We have a young kid here named Xavier Gotti. He's very promising. And Soda Pop Hendricks.
I like
guy by the name of kid named Superfly Soda Pop Hendricks.
Nice. And how do you get them out there? How do you get their names out there? Like when you decide, you know what, we think that you are ready. Do you have a program where you set up for recruiting to the bigger stages, the bigger companies?
We just take them on the road with us, and it's kind of like they get in where they fit in. Once they're on the road with us, a lot of things, it creates a lot of value for them, and it helps that Jazz and I also are involved in a lot of booking. So we kind of handpick, guys that we feel that can pretty much take them to the woodshed, if you will. And then you come back with a lesson. Right.
But it's no particular look. It's kind of just like if y'all think somebody can go, then just come up under the wing.
Oh yes, oh yeah. No, we don't discriminate on anybody or anything. No, from how they say, from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. Come on down to the pound. Yeah, baby. Yes. We love all the underdogs. I love working with underdogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure do.
What? Where else? I mean, because I know you've been spotted in a number of different spots. We mentioned you shut down SWE. I'm joking, but you shut down SWE. But people have also, I've read people have been wondering, NWA. People have seen you in NWA. Are we able to be able to see you anytime soon?
Yes, sir. So far, yeah, man. NWA, TSW, plus and Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling, but right there, those are my homes, and I plan on making the NWA. Yeah, I plan on digging in deep like a tick, baby. Just a matter of time.
Do you have what's the goal for Rodney Mack? For the next 25 years. Are you looking to grab gold? Are you looking to you mentioned loving the underdogs? Are you more about just bringing up the youth? Like what are you looking at in your 5 year your next 5 year 10-year plan?
All of that, real talk. For real. I'm gonna try to bust it, man, as much as I keep writing history and just bring along those who want to come along. I reach back and help out, but I ain't finished by far.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. I plan on hunting, baby, as long as I can.
I was gonna say, are there any wrestlers out there that you may not have gotten in the squared circle with yet that you would want to take on?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's about to happen now, and I'm having matches with guys like a guy by the name of Warsaw. What's that? Yes, baby. Mil Mertes. I know you guys are pretty familiar, right? And then there's of course a bunch of the guys in the NWA.
Mhm.
I'm trying to work some deals with Nick Alders, Trevor, Jax Dane. You know, some guys that's still relevant and still on top.
100%. 100%.
Yes, sir. Matt Cardona.
Oh.
You know those guys. Yep.
Now Matt Cardona's been on his he been getting real bloody, real death. Were you trying to go to the extreme with Matt Cardona?
Oh man, I'd go anywhere. I'd
like
go anywhere you want to go. Yeah. Yes, sir. We can get down. I love it.
Do you guys have any activities that are happening outside? Like, do you have any charities that you guys are working on? Any outside of the ring type opportunities that, just things that you guys are doing?
We are trying to, as we speak now, work with the Humane Society here in San Antonio and the Boys and Girls Club. The YMCA's. Right before the WrestleMania and the WrestleCon, we were kind of on the roll with that. But since then, it's kind of it's been a little choppy. But yes, we are just to answer that.
Nice.
Also, we teamed up with Twin Peaks and True Fit Gym down here as well.
Okay.
And we're gonna start doing some community stuff with them. But yes.
Nice.
What does Rodney Mack get into when he's not, training the future and wrestling himself and on the road? Are you a movie guy? Are you a sports guy? What do you get into outside of the ring?
Yeah, I'd like to sit down, man, and watch a movie every now and then, but it's hard because we got the twins now, and they're in the sports as well, and they're teenagers now, just 13, and
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it really is no time for sleep, right?
I was gonna say y'all big sports parents. Big sport. They football?
No, they're girls and they basketball,
volleyball.
Yeah, soccer.
That's awesome.
Yep, and also we have one involved with wrestling.
Nice.
Okay.
Wrestling, yeah. So
great.
she right now she referees and she's won't be long before she'll be locking up.
Shit, I don't know if there's any favoritism, but I imagine that she gonna be right up under the wing at Dogg Pound.
Oh yeah, she is. She's under mom and dad. Yeah.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. Are you guys a big wrestling family? Like, do you guys sit down and just throw wrestling on and everybody chills out? What's it like at home? Do you stay as far away as you can when you guys are having family time?
No, man. Actually, when we're having family time, we really don't mess with wrestling. But right after that, I head to the office, or Jazz does as well, and we're booked. When the girls aren't there, when they're in school or whatever, we always we probably got our heads down trying to book something or study some film or bring something to the school, some knowledge, or try to talk to somebody. We do a lot of counseling as well, We're moms and pops and big brothers and all that, but that's what it's about, man.
I was gonna say that's real necessary in the game now, especially with when you're dealing with a lot of people who are on the come up and may not have been, understanding what the industry's like and what may or may not, be out there.
Right, man. And real talk, those kids or guys or people, students, whatever, they look up to me and Jazz, and it's not just about money, man. They're looking, up to you for guidance and right, and you're trying to show them the way and all that. So, excuse me, that means a lot, man. Yeah. Somebody trusts you with their lives.
No, 100%. Are you on the way to a show now? You said you was on the road, right?
Actually, yeah, we're on our way to training. We just pulled up. We got training. Yeah.
Got you. Well, Mimi, did you have another question? I feel like you Rodney Mack, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's been great getting to know you.
Yeah.
It's been great getting to hear what you guys are doing down there with Dogg Pound Wrestling Dojo and Championship Wrestling. Again, no regrets is May 21st, 2022. I guess what's the best place for people to get in contact with anything Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling related?
Man, The best one, just to go to the app, download TSW Plus app, and it'll tell you everything about both of us. The Dogg Pound Championship Wrestling, the dojo, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Yes.
Rodney Mack, once again, thank you very much for coming through to the
Thank
Black
you guys. Thank you as well, Mimi. Yes, thank you guys for having me, man. And hopefully we can do this again. And I may have a little bit more time in different situation here.
No,
Hey man, thank you for beating up them white boys for me.
Hey, you're welcome, man. I ain't finished either, dog.
Yes.
I ain't finished.